So another idea I have here, maybe, that we'll put, and I might want to save this for another map, actually, though. Maybe one after this. But let's just do right over here, and we can do a little pathway area here. So another idea that I have, just like a little, maybe it's a nice little, park area or relaxation spot, whatever. And you could even do a fence if you wanted. That's probably not a good kind of fence. Let's try this one, maybe. No, that looks pretty intense also. We just need a basic fence. I know this is the wood one, but wood one could work. I don't know. Maybe we don't need a fence there. Maybe we can do, whoops, that was not the button I wanted. Maybe we can just do some tall grass or something. Do it like that. More of a natural thing, but yeah, you can do things like that. And I was going to say we can add, maybe, let's see, I think there's like a bench tile in here somewhere. Is there signs? Yeah, I might be misremembering. We might need the inside tile for that bench part. That's weird. I kind of thought there was one. Maybe it was on the C tab or the A tab. I'm probably remembering things from other tile sets and stuff too, especially the things that, I feel like it's like, oh, I should have this, and then it doesn't have it. Like, it's one of those things where, it's probably something I'm just remembering from something else I had used in the past, or, other tile sets or other versions of RPG Maker. Yeah, because I'm not seeing a bench here, but you definitely could put something like that if you wanted, like, bench tiles and things like that. So, but we could just have another, maybe it could just be another spot for a tree or, that sort of thing. Maybe we'll do, or a flower garden area or, something like that. Maybe I can do that. I didn't want that to go that far. I was just going to do something like that maybe. And then inside we'll do more grass, I guess. Actually, yeah, I guess we'd have to do it that way. That's not going to really work though, is it? Now it's going to be 3 tall. Okay. So let's make it a little taller then. Could actually just do this whole thing like that. That might actually even look better. Just do some grass in the middle here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then we'll do maybe a big tree and some of these other flowers. Put alongside it. Something like that, I guess. Yeah, that looks okay. Just some kind of stuff. And I do have an idea. I'll probably do it a little bit later, but I do have another idea of something I want to do. Something like this, but a little bit different. And we'll make it so it's something that the player can actually examine, and they can, they don't have to, it's not just something like visual, they'll actually be able to examine it and see something about it and whatever. So, but you get the idea here. You can make, things like this. I may just put in like one more down here, I think. That sounds pretty good. Just to kind of, maybe it goes, oops, that's too high. Just need it to be 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Maybe, yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe just like a smaller one or something. Just, again, the whole goal is just to break up the monotony of your very long, very rectangular, very plain looking road, and just giving it something a little bit more interesting to do. Now another thing, maybe, let's see if we can, I want to see if it makes a division. If we use this other tile here, right in the middle, what does that do besides the grass part? So it just does some grass. Okay, so I just want to see what this looks like if we did something like, I should be using the rectangle tool for this, but yeah, okay, so that doesn't really fit that well. It does against these though, so it might be something worth pulling over. I'm not sure, but that's another thing you could eventually do if you theoretically if you wanted, and just kind of like make a path within the path. So like you could have these all sectioned off on the sides and repeated. And I may do that. That might look okay. Just like repeating this sort of thing on either side, and then have like a main path to walk down. And that would make sense, really. But it's okay. We don't really need it. It looks pretty good as it is. So, but that gives you the idea here of what we're going for in the road. Now, one other thing I want to do. Let me actually test. And if you ever need to test anything quickly, you can just right-click anywhere on whatever map you're on. Go to set starting position. It's a little bit off the screen there. You won't be able to see it, but and then go to player, just like we did before. Hit play test. Save your changes, and then you can test right on that map without having to go all over the place. It doesn't matter if your events are set up yet or not, but I just want to see. Okay, so it does let you walk on all this. That's what I was going to check. Yeah. Okay. So here we can see it's letting you walk. So the possibility for these tiles means you can walk over them. So that's something I'll show you how to do here in just a second, to where if you want to manually make it so they cannot walk here, even if they normally can, then there's a little trick you can do with events. And it's a little bit manual of a process, but because I want to make it so they can't walk past this border here. So now one thing you could do, of course, is go into the map settings and change the possibility for this tile, how this works, to where they can't walk on it. But the potential issue with that maybe is that later on down the road, you may want to make it so you can use this same tile and that the player can walk on it like they can right now. So if you changed it in there, then it would be a permanent change across all your maps. But if you just wanted it for one map to where they couldn't walk there, then you could set it up a different way, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So, say we want to do that. We want to make it so the player can't pass by any of these borders. We would go ahead and right-click in our event mode and do new. And all we need to do, super simple, is do same as characters in an empty event. Hit OK. And now I'll just play test it and I'll show you. Just like with the signs or the rocks or anything like that. It makes it to where you can't pass that. See? So now we're running into an invisible object here. So with that in mind, all you have to do here is go Control C and Control V, so copy and paste, and then you can literally just paste over and over. Like I said, it's a little bit manual. This is maybe not necessarily the most efficient way to do this, but it is one way to do it. And now you've boxed in this whole space with duplicated events, and that should make it so the player cannot walk there. See? And now, as you'll see, I'm trying to go up as I'm walking, and I'm trying to go inside, and now the player is not going to be able to get in there. They're just not going to be able to do it thanks to those events that you set up. So that's one way to do that. Pretty simple. Can get a little tedious, but if you want to set something up like that, that's a quick and dirty way to do it without having to go and do anything like that. So I know before I talked about if you hold shift, you can dash. But also if you're in this testing mode, now this won't work when you're actually playing the game, but if you're in the test mode, you can hold down the control key, and as you're walking, anything like this where it's got a tile or an event or whatever where you can't normally pass, if you hold control, it will let you pass through everything, even the trees or whatever, and you can see how they clip through the graphic there. Control is basically like turning on the through option temporarily for your players. And it's a good way to just get through stuff if you need to while you're testing, like, oh hey, I need to test and make sure this other spot in here can't be walked through, but to do that I have all these events in the way now how am I supposed to test it? I have to go back in, so all you gotta do is hold control while you're moving around with the arrow keys or the mouse or whatever you're doing, and it will make it so you pass through everything in the test mode. So it's another little trick for you. And if you really want to go through fast, you can hold shift and control, and then it dashes and cuts through everything. So if you really want to blast through stuff real fast and go all around, then that's how you can do it. So now we'll have to set up the events for this one too, and this one down here, because like I was saying before, uniformity, consistency with whatever you're doing. If you want it in one spot, you're probably going to want it in all the spots. So it should still be on our clipboard, so we can just do Control V and paste. And then it's probably easier in this case just to use the arrow keys, because you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard to move your event cursor wherever you like. Since we're just going in straight lines here, it's pretty easy to just hit left and right and up and down. And then again, we want to block off this area over here as well. And if for some reason we didn't, we could just leave this one off, or whatever. So that's one way to do it. Now we could also get more particular about it and say, okay, well, maybe they can walk through the first one, but we just don't want them to walk like here, and then you could just put one here and here, and then they'd have to walk around that, that sort of thing. So you can really fine tune it that way, however you like.